guys, happy Wednesday. Okay, so I want to go through some assignment stuff and then look ahead to your next assignment and then spring break assignment. I know if you haven't looked at the spring break assignment yet, my video yesterday probably didn't make any sense, which is totally fine. So you're going to have an assignment that's due by the end of the weekend, and then you'll have a full week for just your spring break assignment. I promise I will not be pushing out anything beyond that over the course of the entire spring break. I did want to let you know, if you want more practice, I have plenty of things I can send you. So if you want more multiple choice over the break, or if you want me to send you some like quick passages that you can do rapid fire thesis statements about, or you want to do some like argumentative thesis statements, whatever it may be, just let me know, and there's an infinite amount of content that I can send out to you guys. So that being said, I don't know about you guys, but it feels like I feel like we've been doing this for like 400 days already. And I guess the thing that I'm struggling with in terms of like the, working from home or distance learning or whatever you want to call it, is that because my laptop is like always here, because I can always access the internet and I can always access stuff for you guys, I kind of feel like I'm always working, or I always could be or should be working, because there's like really no excuse and there's not a whole lot else to do. So I don't know how you guys feel. I've been struggling with that a little bit. So first thing I'll address is multiple choice. I'll pose a question. Just kind of wondering what you guys thought of that passage. Our scores were like, we had a fairly big range. However, there were like a few questions that pretty much all of us struggled with. So your first assignment for Sunday is another multiple choice. I made this one just one section, so it's pretty short. It's like 11 questions. I gave you an 18-minute time limit, which should be plenty of time. And I basically went through and cherry picked on AP Classroom the questions that talk about the line of reasoning, because those were the ones that we struggled with on the multiple choice that was due today. So that's looking at things like, how does a specific piece of evidence support a claim? The ones that I've seen, I really like so far. Some of the kind of common issues that you guys were coming back to me with is there's so much going on in this speech, which agreed. There's almost like too much going on. It's hard to focus your annotations. So that was kind of a common issue that you guys dealt with. However, I think there are some pretty like easily recognizable overarching rhetorical choices or strategies that he uses. Let me see. Does this show backwards if I show it to you? No, that's forwards, right? Okay. All right, so I just want to show you this beautiful intro. Education and educated leaders are the backbone of a successful and changing society. In his spoken word poem to the 2016 commencement class of Harvard, Livingston utilizes an authoritative tone, urging listeners to use their voices to mend all wrongs, and references to historical figures that provide context for his argument in order to underscore his message that regardless of past experiences in history and personal life, it is up to the people of today to build a fulfilling and worthwhile tomorrow through education. Beautiful. And then your second assignment is kind of like twofold for Sunday night. So the first thing is we're going to do a visual rhetorical analysis of Childish Gambino. Is that what he's called when he does music? Childish Gambino's This Is America music video. I know it's a little older now, and I'm sure you've all seen it a million times. But I love this music video. I think there's so much there. It's kind of like Donovan Livingston's speech, in which like you have to like really select what you want to focus on, because he does such a good job with inserting so much like rich visual rhetoric to support his message. So I'm going to go through in this video, I'm going to do like a guided rhetorical analysis with you. I'm going to show you like a clip, and then we'll talk through it like we would talk through a passage in class. And then you're going to submit a thesis for this. And then you are going to choose a music video of your choice, and you're going to do a thesis and a body paragraph rhetorical analysis of that music video. So it can be anything. And then just I guess a literal trigger warning. For This Is America, if you've never seen it before, there are some pretty violent images in it. It deals with like the ubiquity of school shootings in America. So if you are sensitive to that, or you're worried about that, or you'd rather like not watch this and not do this assignment, I'm happy to send you a different music video. So for that, the first section of the video that's like about a minute long, we start with Childish Gambino's in the background. He's facing away from us, and then I want you guys to think about like why, besides that he's pretty cute, like why is he shirtless from the very beginning? Why is he like showing his jewelry? Why is he wearing these like gold chains on his neck? He also, for the first like 35-40 seconds, he doesn't look at the camera even when he's rapping and dancing and like walking toward the camera. Why not? So think about, why is he avoiding the eye contact? It opens with this like very violent scene of, you know, an execution style killing that's very reminiscent of like terrorists or terrorism, or you know, those kinds of like videos and images that we've been dealing with at least a lot more since 9/11. He opens and his like the actual lyrics of the song are pretty serious, and then we have the juxtaposition of that with like this upbeat group of, you know, school kids, like teenagers in their school uniforms, dancing and looking like very upbeat. So why does he have, you know, the juxtaposition of that like violence right next to these kids? The second third of the video, from like 140-ish through like 250-ish, we have this church choir. You know, think about like what church represents, what the church choir represents. They're this like very innocent, these people who are volunteering their time. They're going in on, you know, a Sunday to do like work for God, essentially. And they're very upbeat and happy and like synchronized with each other. And then we have this like super abrupt, immediate change where Childish Gambino is thrown, you know, an assault rifle, basically. So think about like, it's not like he shows himself walking into a gun store and picking something up. Like, think about the like flippant nature with which we supply firearms. And then all of a sudden, like, to have this, you know, like church choir, the sound of that versus the sound of like an assault rifle or guns going off. To me, that mimics like, it's the same thing as, you know, whether it's in a church or a synagogue or a mosque or a school or a Walmart or whatever it is. You know, we have these very like innocent spaces with children and, you know, preachers and, you know, just shoppers and citizens going about their daily business, and then their lives are turned upside down in a minute. We also have, after that scene when he's dancing with the school kids, there's a car on fire in the background, and I wrote a note for myself like, everything is on fire, literally and figuratively. And then he has this really prolonged silence where he just stops and he's staring out in front of him, not looking at the camera. Everybody else is gone. You can't see anything else in the background. It's like he's digesting everything that's going on. And then his very next move is he just lights up a joint and continues dancing on the rooftop of that car. So like, why is that his next action? What does that say about how we deal with these like atrocities and how we react to these situations? And then in that final scene from like about minute 3:15 on to the end, I want you to think about the contrast in the action versus the rhythm and the sound of his recording and his beat in the background. There's this very like jarring disconnect between the two, which to me again just goes back to that idea of like we we put a happy song over it, or we put a happy beat over it, or we give kindergartners a lollipop during a code red drill so that they won't talk and they won't be loud and things like that. It's these like kind of band-aid fixes or willful ignorance when we don't want to like really address what's going on. And then the final scene of the music video when he's running away and people are we're watching his back as he runs away, and he's so like defenseless, and he's not even like protected or covered with clothing. He's so vulnerable, and finally in that ending scene we see when the camera pans around to his face like the fear in his eyes that he's feeling. To me that's a really like powerful ending scene where he's finally showing like you can dance or smoke a joint or whatever it may be in the moment, but like certain populations in this country really do feel this like terrifying vulnerability at the hands of people who are supposed to keep them safe.